In the pulsating heart of Neo-Sydney 2075, where neon lights danced with the stars and the hum of lev trains echoed through the night, Lily Thompson was just an ordinary 18-year-old with an extraordinary dream. From her modest apartment window, she would gaze at the cosmos, her reflection in the glass a silent testament to her longing for the day when humans would traverse the galaxy as freely as birds soared the skies. Little did she know, her dreams were about to collide with reality in a way she could never have imagined. One seemingly ordinary day, a sleek, unmarked hovercar descended silently from the sky, its polished exterior reflecting the bustling cityscape. It landed with a soft hum in front of Lily's building, drawing curious glances from passers-by. The doors slid open, and out stepped a stern-faced woman, her uniform crisp and bearing the insignia of the United Earth government, a stylized globe cradled by an olive branch and a gear. She approached Lily, who had been watching from the lobby, her eyes wide with curiosity. "Lily Thompson?" the woman asked, her voice as stern as her expression. Lily nodded, swallowing hard. "You've been selected for a mission of great importance. Please come with me." Before Lily could protest or even process what was happening, she was whisked away to the newly established Department of Extraterrestrial Affairs. The building was a marvel of modern architecture, its glass and steel facade shimmering under the sunlight. Inside, the air was cool and sterile, the hum of activity a stark contrast to the bustling streets outside. Lily was ushered into a grand office where the Secretary General herself stood by a holographic globe of Earth, her expression grave. She explained that first contact had been made. Alien life had been discovered and Earth had been invited to join the Galactic Council, a governing body of various extraterrestrial civilizations. But there was a catch. The Council specifically requested a young human representative, believing their adaptability and open-mindedness would be crucial in navigating the complexities of interstellar diplomacy. Lily's high aptitude scores, her age, and her known fascination with the cosmos made her the perfect candidate. The Secretary General looked at Lily with a mix of hope and desperation. "Lily," she said, "we need you. Earth needs you." After a whirlwind of preparations, medical exams, briefings, and a crash course in interstellar politics, Lily found herself standing at the threshold of a spaceship. The vessel was a sleek, silver craft, its design a testament to human ingenuity and the newly acquired alien technology. As she stepped inside, the airlock hissed shut behind her, sealing her off from the world she knew. The ship hummed to life, and with a gentle lurch, it ascended into the sky. Lily watched through the viewport as Neo-Sydney shrank beneath her, the city lights fading into the distance. Soon, the blue marble of Earth was just a speck in the vast expanse of space. Her destination? The alien planet of Zephyria, home of the Galactic Council. Her mission? To negotiate a peace treaty between the warring Voidweaver and Stellarion empires, two ancient and powerful civilizations whose conflict threatened to engulf the galaxy. As she gazed at the stars, Lily felt a mix of exhilaration and terror. She was hurtling towards the unknown, carrying the hopes of her planet on her shoulders. No pressure, she thought, taking a deep breath. No pressure at all. Lily's first steps onto Zephyria were a symphony of sensations that threatened to overwhelm her. The air was thick with the scent of exotic blooms, and it shimmered with the soft glow of bioluminescent flora that cast ethereal shadows on the ground. Alien creatures, unlike any she had ever seen, darted gracefully between towering structures that seemed to have grown organically from the planet's surface. The architecture was a breathtaking blend of nature and design, with spiraling towers and arching bridges that gleamed like polished opal. As she took it all in, a tall, willowy figure approached her. Calum, a Voidweaver, moved with an otherworldly grace, his iridescent skin shifting through a spectrum of colors with each step. His eyes were pools of starlight, and his voice, when he spoke, was like the gentle tinkling of wind chimes. "Welcome, Deathworlder," Calum said, his gaze sweeping over her with a mix of curiosity and respect. Lily raised an eyebrow, a small smile playing on her lips. "Deathworlder?" she echoed, the term both intriguing and slightly ominous. Calum nodded, his expression serious. "Your planet, Earth, is what we call a death world. Its environment is challenging, to say the least. Gravity, climate, predators, they have all shaped your kind into formidable beings." Lily laughed softly, shaking her head. "I'm just Lily," she said, extending a hand in a universal gesture of friendship. "And I'm here to help." Alan regarded her hand for a moment before mimicking the gesture, his touch cool and light. "Very well, Lily. I am Calum, the Council's liaison. I will assist you in navigating the complexities of our politics and customs." Lily's first council meeting was a spectacle unlike any other. The chamber was a vast, circular arena, its walls adorned with intricate murals that seemed to shift and change, depicting scenes from the galaxy's rich history. Delegates from various alien races filled the tiers, each more extraordinary than the last. There were the hulking, stone-skinned terraformers, their voices like the rumble of distant thunder, the lithe, feathered ethereals, who communicated in melodic trills and clicks. The enigmatic nebulons, their forms shimmering like cosmic nebulae, speaking in whispers that seemed to echo through the mind itself. In the midst of this interstellar menagerie, Lily, clad in her crisp United Earth uniform, felt small and out of place. But she stood tall, her chin lifted, determined to make a difference. She could feel the weight of their gazes, a mix of curiosity, skepticism, and hope. This was her stage, her chance to prove that humanity had a place among the stars. As the council session began, the air hummed with a symphony of alien languages, translated in real time by the sophisticated device Calum had provided her. Lily listened intently, her mind racing as she tried to keep up with the intricacies of interstellar politics. But despite the overwhelming nature of it all, she felt a spark of excitement. This was what she had dreamed of. A chance to make a difference, to bridge the gap between Earth and the cosmos, and she was determined not to let her planet down. Lily's first days on Zephyra were a whirlwind of cultural faux pas and comedic mishaps. She stumbled from one diplomatic blunder to the next, each misstep a lesson in the intricate dance of interstellar etiquette. Her first major gaffe occurred during a luncheon with the Stellarian delegates. Their leader, a regal figure with skin that shimmered like a star-studded night, offered her a platter of iridescent fruits. Lily, unaware of the custom, politely declined, explaining that she had already eaten. The room fell silent, and the Stellarian's eyes widened in offense. Calum later explained that communal eating was a sacred ritual among their kind, a sign of trust and unity. Lily's refusal had been akin to a slap in the face. Her next faux pas involved a hulking Braconi delegate, his muscles rippling beneath his stony skin. Lily, admiring his physique, innocently commented, "You must work out a lot." To her horror, the Braconi threw back his head and roared, a sound that echoed through the chamber like thunder. She had inadvertently challenged him to a strength contest, an ancient rite among his people. The contest involved lifting a massive boulder, and though Lily put up a valiant effort, she was no match for the Braconi's raw power. She lost, but earned their respect for her courage and determination. But perhaps her most cringe-worthy blunder involved a Zephyrian delegate, a willowy creature with eyes like liquid silver. During a formal reception, the Zephyrian recited what Lily mistook for a humorous poem, its lyrics filled with whimsical metaphors and playful rhymes. Lily laughed heartily, her eyes tearing up with mirth. The room fell silent, and the Zephyrian's eyes widened in shock. Calum later explained that the poem was a sacred mating ritual, a declaration of love and devotion. Lily's laughter had been a grave insult, causing a minor diplomatic incident that took days to smooth over. But Lily wasn't one to be deterred by setbacks. She threw herself into learning the alien customs with unyielding enthusiasm, often with hilarious results. She gamely tried eating live, glowing Zephyrian plants, their tendrils wriggling in her mouth like sour candy. She attempted to master the zero-gravity dance of the Void Weavers, her limbs flailing as she floated like a drunken astronaut. And she even participated in a Braconi strength ritual, her muscles straining as she heaved a massive boulder, earning their respect for her tenacity. Meanwhile, she grappled with the labyrinthine politics of the Council. The Void Weavers and Stellarians were ancient enemies, their feud stretching back centuries. Their conflict was a tangled web of old grievances and new provocations, each side convinced of their own righteousness. Lily's task was to find common ground, to weave a fragile thread of peace from the frayed tapestry of their enmity. She spent countless hours poring over historical records, consulting with Calum and other delegates, and observing the council sessions. She listened to the impassioned speeches, the heated debates, and the whispered conspiracies, her mind racing as she tried to piece together the puzzle of their discord. It was a daunting task, but Lily was determined to see it through. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and she was not about to let it tilt towards war on her watch. One day, while wandering the labyrinthine halls of the Zephyrian archives, Lily stumbled upon a hidden chamber. The air was thick with dust, and the scent of ancient parchment filled her nostrils. Intrigued, she stepped inside, her footsteps echoing in the silence. The walls were lined with holographic scrolls, their surfaces shimmering with forgotten knowledge. As she browsed the titles, one caught her eye: The Cosmic Scourge, a chronicle of the Outer Rim Plague. With a wave of her hand, she activated the scroll, and a holographic display sprang to life before her. She read with growing horror as the text detailed a virulent plague sweeping through the Outer Rim worlds. It affected all species indiscriminately, its symptoms gruesome, and its fatality rate alarmingly high. Yet there was no mention of it in the council chambers, no urgent debates or calls to action. It seemed the council was more consumed by their petty feuds than addressing this looming threat. Lily's mind raced as she realized the implications. This was her chance, her opportunity to unite the council against a common enemy. If she could shift their focus from their centuries-old squabbles to this pressing crisis, perhaps they would put aside their differences and work together. But first she needed evidence. She needed to see the devastation with her own eyes, to gather irrefutable proof that would shake the council from their complacency. With a newfound sense of purpose, Lily sought out Calum. She found him in his quarters, his iridescent skin glowing softly in the dim light. His eyes widened as she burst in, her cheeks flushed with urgency. "Calum," she said, her voice breathless, "I need your help." She told him about the plague, about her plan to unite the council. Calum listened intently, his expression growing grave. "It is a risky endeavor, Lily," he warned. "The Outer Rim worlds are dangerous, and the council may not take kindly to our interference." But Lily was undeterred. "I have to try," she insisted. "I can't just stand by and do nothing." Moved by her determination, Calum agreed to help. Together, they planned a covert mission to the affected worlds. They would travel incognito, posing as relief workers to avoid attracting unwanted attention. Calum secured a small, discreet vessel, its hull battered and worn from years of service. It was a far cry from the sleek diplomatic cruisers Lily had grown accustomed to, but it would serve their purpose well. As they set out, Lily felt a mix of exhilaration and trepidation. She was venturing into the unknown, navigating uncharted waters in her quest for the truth. But she was determined to see it through, to shine a light on the darkness that threatened to consume the galaxy. Little did she know, her journey would take her to the very heart of the cosmic scourge, and the revelations she would uncover would change the course of galactic history forever. Lily and Calum's journey took them to the farthest reaches of the galaxy, to worlds that hung like forgotten jewels in the vast expanse of space. They traversed nebulae that painted the cosmos in hues of gold and crimson, and navigated asteroid fields that glittered like diamonds, scattered by the hand of some celestial being. But the beauty of their journey was marred by the devastation they encountered. They stood on the surface of worlds decimated by the plague, their once thriving landscapes reduced to barren wastelands. The air was thick with the acrid scent of decay, and the silence was deafening, broken only by the distant howl of winds sweeping over desolate plains. They met refugees fleeing their dying homes, their faces etched with lines of grief and despair. The refugees spoke of loved ones lost, of communities torn apart, and of the desperate struggle for survival in the face of an unseen enemy. Lily listened to their stories, her heart aching with each tale of loss and suffering. She saw the fragility of life laid bare, a stark reminder that even on a galactic scale, existence was a delicate dance on the edge of a knife. She saw children with eyes too old for their years, and parents who clung to hope like a lifeline, their gazes fixed on the distant horizon as if searching for a salvation that seemed cruelly out of reach. But amidst the despair, they also found glimmers of hope. On a remote research outpost, a gleaming beacon of light in the darkness, they discovered a team of scientists from various races working tirelessly to find a cure. The outpost was a bustling hive of activity, its laboratories humming with the quiet determination of minds united in a common cause. Here, a void weaver worked alongside a stellarian, their hands moving in perfect synchrony as they analyzed samples under a microscope. There, a Braconi conferred with a Zephyrian, their voices a blend of deep rumbles and melodic whispers as they discussed potential treatments. It was a small-scale model of what Lily envisioned for the Council, unity in the face of adversity, a testament to the power of cooperation over division. She watched as these disparate beings came together, their differences melting away in the face of a shared goal, and she felt a spark of hope ignite within her. If they could do it, why not the Council? Armed with her findings, Lily returned to Zephyria, her resolve unshakable. She stood before the Council chamber, her heart pounding with a mix of trepidation and determination. She knew what she was about to do would not be easy. She was about to challenge centuries of tradition and prejudice, to hold a mirror up to the Council and force them to confront their own shortcomings. She was about to turn galactic diplomacy on its head, to shatter the status quo and forge a new path forward. As she stepped into the chamber, all eyes turned to her. The air was thick with anticipation, and Lily took a deep breath, steeling herself for the battle to come. She was no longer just Lily Thompson, the ordinary girl from Neo-Sydney. She was Lily Thompson, the Deathworlder, the emissary of Earth, and she was here to bring about change, no matter the cost. The Council chamber was a symphony of hushed whispers and rustling robes as Lily stood to address the delegates. The air was thick with anticipation, and she could feel the weight of their gazes, a mix of skepticism and curiosity. She knew she was an outsider, a human amidst a sea of alien faces. But she also felt her own resolve, her human tenacity burning like a flame within her. She took a deep breath, her hands clasped tightly before her, and began to speak. Her voice was steady and clear, echoing through the chamber like a bell tolling the hour of reckoning. She spoke of her journey, of the worlds she had seen, once verdant landscapes reduced to barren wastelands, of skies choked with the ashes of the fallen. She spoke of the lives she had touched, of the refugees she had met, their faces etched with lines of grief, their eyes haunted by loss. She presented her evidence, holographic images flickering to life above the Council floor. They depicted the grim reality of the plague's devastation, decimated cities, overflowing medical facilities, and the desperate struggle for survival playing out on a galactic scale. The delegates watched in silence, their expressions growing grave as the true extent of the crisis became apparent. Then, Lily proposed her radical solution. Her voice rang out, strong and unyielding, as she called for a united galactic front against the cosmic plague. We are not void weavers or stellarians, Braconi or Zephyrians, she declared, her gaze sweeping over the assembled delegates. We are not defined by our differences but by our shared existence in this vast cosmos. We are galactic citizens, and we face a common enemy. United, we can overcome it. Divided, we will fall. The chamber fell silent, her words hanging in the air like a challenge. Lily could feel the tension, the resistance to change that had become the Council's hallmark. But she also saw something else. A spark of understanding. A glimmer of hope. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the delegates began to nod. The Stellarian ambassador, his eyes gleaming like distant stars, was the first to rise. "The human speaks wisdom," he declared, his voice resonating through the chamber. "We have been blinded by our feuds, deafened by our own rhetoric, but no more. The Stellarians will stand united against this threat." One by one, the other delegates followed suit. The Voidweaver representative, her iridescent skin shimmering with emotion, pledged her people's support. The Braconi ambassador, his stone-like features set in determination, vowed to commit his people's strength to the cause. Even the enigmatic Nebulons, their forms shifting like cosmic nebulae, whispered their assent, their voices echoing through the minds of all present. Lily watched as the council transformed before her eyes, their divisions melting away in the face of a shared purpose. She felt a surge of pride, of hope, and of humility. She had come to Zephyr as an ordinary girl, but she had ignited a spark that would unite the galaxy. And as the delegates turned to her, their eyes filled with newfound respect, she knew that she had found her place among the stars. A new era. In the weeks that followed, the Galactic Council was transformed. Old feuds were set aside as delegates worked together to combat the plague. Lily's proposal had sparked a new era of cooperation, a testament to the power of unity. Millie herself became a symbol of this change. No longer the awkward newcomer, she was celebrated as a hero, her name whispered with respect and admiration. She had proven that even the youngest, most inexperienced Deathworlder could make a difference on the galactic stage. But Lily knew her work was far from over. The plague was just one challenge among many. As long as she remained on Zephyria, she would continue to fight for unity, for understanding, for peace. After all, that's what being a Deathworlder was all about. The years had passed like the turning of a celestial clock, each tick marking another milestone in Lily's relentless pursuit of galactic unity. The united front against the cosmic plague had been a resounding success, a testament to the power of cooperation over division. A cure had been developed and distributed across the galaxy, healing the ravaged worlds and restoring hope to the countless lives touched by the scourge. But the peace between the Void Weavers and Stellarians remained as fragile as a crystal vase, threatened by the lingering tensions and old grudges that simmered just beneath the surface. One fateful day, the delicate balance of peace was shattered like a pane of glass struck by a stone. A rogue faction of Stellarians, their hearts hardened by centuries of enmity, launched a surprise attack on a Voidweaver colony. The news reached the council chamber like a shockwave, and chaos erupted. Delegates leapt to their feet, their voices clashing in a cacophony of accusations and recriminations. The air was thick with tension, the promise of war hanging heavy like a storm cloud about to burst. Lily rushed to the council chamber, her heart pounding in her chest. She could feel the weight of the moment, the knowledge that this was the crucible in which her legacy would be forged. As she stepped into the chamber, the din of voices washed over her like a tidal wave. But she stood tall, her eyes blazing with determination. "Stop!" she cried, her voice cutting through the chaos like a knife. The room fell silent, all eyes turning to her. She stood at the center of the storm, her presence commanding, her gaze unyielding. "We have come too far to let this destroy us," she declared, her voice echoing through the chamber. "We have fought a common enemy and won. We have stared into the abyss of extinction and pulled ourselves back from the brink. We can do the same with our own divisions." She turned to the Stellarian delegate, her gaze piercing. "You must condemn this attack," she said, her voice steady and unyielding. "Show the galaxy that you stand for peace, not war. Prove that the actions of a misguided few do not define your people." Then she turned to the Voidweaver delegate, her expression softening, but her resolve unwavering. "And you must show mercy," she implored. "Prove that you are above retaliation, that you value unity over vengeance. The cycle of violence must end, and it must end with you." The chamber fell silent, the weight of her words sinking in like stones cast into still water. The delegates looked at each other, their anger giving way to reason, their pride yielding to the greater good. They saw the truth in her words, the necessity of her plea, and the wisdom of her counsel. Slowly, the Stellarian delegate rose to his feet, his eyes gleaming with a newfound resolve. "The human speaks wisdom," he declared, his voice resonating through the chamber. "We condemn this attack in the strongest possible terms. It does not represent the will of our people, nor the path we wish to tread." The Voidweaver delegate followed suit, her iridescent skin shimmering with emotion. "And we choose mercy," she said, her voice like the gentle rustling of leaves. "We will not retaliate, for to do so would be to betray the unity we have fought so hard to achieve." One by one the other delegates rose, their voices joining in a chorus of assent. They pledged their commitment to peace, their resolve unshakable, their unity unbreakable. And as Lily looked out at the sea of faces, she knew that she had succeeded. She had turned the tide of war, had forged a lasting peace from the ashes of enmity. And in that moment she knew that her legacy would shine like a beacon of hope amidst the stars, a testament to the power of unity, forgiveness, and love. In the aftermath of the attack, Lily threw herself into the monumental task of strengthening the fragile bonds of peace. She was a whirlwind of activity, her days filled with meetings, negotiations, and endless rounds of diplomatic wrangling, but she was driven by a singular purpose: to ensure that the galaxy never again teetered on the brink of war. She organized joint reconstruction efforts, rallying delegates from every corner of the galaxy to contribute resources and manpower. Void Weavers and Stellarians worked side by side, their hands and minds united in the task of rebuilding what had been lost. Together, they raised new structures from the ashes of the old, their architectural styles blending in a harmonious tapestry of cooperation. Lily fostered cultural exchanges, believing that understanding and respect grew from shared experiences. She established galactic festivals where delegates could showcase their unique traditions, arts, and cuisines. The air would fill with the mingled scents of exotic dishes, the sounds of alien music, and the laughter of beings who, not so long ago, had viewed each other with suspicion and hostility. She even established a Galactic Youth Council, recognizing that the future of peace lay in the hands of the next generation. Young representatives from every species gathered to learn, debate, and forge friendships that transcended the boundaries of their homeworlds. They grew up with a deep understanding and respect for each other, their minds open and their hearts unburdened by the prejudices of the past. Her efforts bore fruit in ways she could scarcely have imagined. The galaxy flourished under the newfound unity, like a garden tended with love and care. Trade routes opened, crisscrossing the cosmos in a web of prosperity. Worlds that had once languished in isolation now thrived, their markets bustling with goods and ideas from every corner of the galaxy. The once feuding empires stood side by side, their differences forgotten in the face of their shared achievement. Back in her apartment on Zephyria, Lily stood before the expansive window, gazing out at the alien cityscape. The towering structures of organic architecture stretched towards the sky, their surfaces shimmering with the soft glow of bioluminescent flora. The air was filled with the hum of activity, the distant murmur of voices speaking in a symphony of alien languages. A sense of pride and accomplishment washed over her, warm and comforting as the setting of Zephyria's twin suns. She had done it. She, Lily Thompson, an ordinary girl from Neo-Sydney, had turned galactic diplomacy on its head. She had united warring empires, forged alliances from the ashes of enmity, and saved countless lives. She had changed the course of galactic history, her legacy written in the stars themselves. As she turned back to her desk, piled high with council reports, alien texts, and holographic communiques, she smiled. The weight of her responsibilities was immense, but so too was her sense of purpose. She was Lily Thompson, Deathworlder and galactic diplomat, and she had changed the galaxy forever. With each new challenge, each diplomatic puzzle to solve, she knew she was exactly where she was meant to be, at the heart of the cosmos, a beacon of hope and unity amidst the stars.